So basically today, Tayo, I just wanted to speak to you about your personal experience because
Yeah.
you lived in this country,
Mm.
you lived in the UK most of
Yes, I was
your adult
born
life.
here and everything.
That's it, most of your adult life, and
Yeah.
then decided to up and go. So I just want to know what prompted you to do that, and when did you do it? Because the last time we
Yeah.
spoke was
Oh God,
when,
I can't even
more than
remember.
5 years, more than 5 years, possibly near 10 years.
I think, oh yeah, kind of 10
Yeah,
years
I think
ago,
so.
maybe. Because
Yes,
I left in 2012 and I think, oh God, yeah.
yeah. So
It's
we,
strange because, yeah.
if you don't mind me saying, but the last time that
Mm.
we communicated, you were going through what I have just come through now. So you seem to have
Okay.
been going through burnout, um, and it was mainly because the industry we're working in and the pressures of life. So back then, what were you going through at that time?
Burnout. Let me just
Yeah.
be honest, let's be clear. But the thing is, let me just kind of backtrack.
Mhm.
Because this whole thing of me coming to, I believe in the law of attraction. Okay, I've been doing it for years, not even really being conscious of it, doing it, but I've been doing it for years. And I manifested years ago that I wanted to live in the Caribbean. I don't know why, because my family are from Nigeria. And I don't know what it is about the Caribbean that drew me to the Caribbean. Anywhere in the Caribbean, I didn't care, just the Caribbean. And the funny thing, my first degree was in Caribbean history. I was part of a humanities degree. I did Caribbean history and literature and women's studies. So I don't know. I never wanted to be from the Caribbean, but I was just drawn to it. So I just said, I just want to come out of this country. I don't really want to go to Nigeria because I'm not really close to my family. I've got my loads of family over there, but I'm not really close to them, but I don't know them. But I have a lot of friends from the Caribbean, and they've always shown me love. They just embraced me, and so maybe that was part of it. But I've always wanted to go, and so every time I travelled, I always went to the Caribbean. I went to Jamaica, St. Lucia, Trinidad, carnivals, and I just always felt at home. I don't know what it was. So years ago, I said, I just want to live in the Caribbean. I don't know where it is, and I just kept on working. I had my vision board and everything. So then in 2000, sort of in 2005, 2006, I met this guy. I didn't know it was going to be my husband. And it was really weird how I met him. Again, he was manifested. I wanted to meet a decent man, because we've all had our relationship dramas. And I just tired of dating and just we meeting waste men, as they say nowadays. So
Yes.
I came out of the dating game. I just said, that's it. And I said, I want to meet this decent man. And I actually wrote, it's called scripting. I scripted of what I wanted in a man, and I wrote it down. And I sent it out on the internet. I didn't even go on the dating sites because I did try. I mean, this is before the swipe, the whole swipe thing. And
Mhm.
I did try dating sites, but it's just like the first thing they used to ask me, "What do you look like?" And I just thought, no, I'm not wanting somebody to know what I look like. I want them to know who I am and my spirit. So I wrote this thing out about what I wanted in a man, and I put it on Craigslist of all places. I didn't know. And I remember my friend said, Tyrell, what did you just do? Why did you put it on Craigslist? I said, I don't know. Because Craigslist is like a list of serial killers and all these madmen. I thought, oh my God, what I've done, but it was too late. So I started getting all of this. And I said, one of the prime things I said is, I don't ask me what I look like, because you're just going to go straight into the refuge. I just don't, know. Of course, they asked the first thing, have you got a picture? So they went to the bin. Then I came across this really simple, like he just says, hello, my name is Ensign Williams. I'm from Dominica, and I'm living in the Netherlands at the moment. I'm raising my children, as a single parent. I thought, oh wow, that's interesting. He didn't ask to see my picture, he didn't ask what I looked like. So I went back to him. I said, oh hi, I really liked what you had to say. It was very simple. I said, oh, Dominica Republic. He goes, no, the Commonwealth of Dominica. I went, oh, I don't really know anything about the Commonwealth of Dominica. So we just chatted, we just went back and forth in email for a little while. And then about 2 weeks later, we started speaking into Yahoo Messenger. This is how way back we're going. And we were speaking on Yahoo Messenger, and he never asked for a picture. Never wanted to know what I looked like. He was just into just talking with me. And I thought, God, this guy is so, it's interesting. I didn't know what he looked like. He could have been anybody. But I remember hearing him, and finally we linked up with Yahoo Messenger, and then from Yahoo Messenger we went to the telephone. We were just talking, but talking to him, and he never, and I kind of clumsily gave him a hug, and he was like, and we just went, and then we just talking all over thing. We just talking. He said about his children, how he's really, committed to them, and I was saying about me being committed to my children, and he goes, but one day I want to move back to my homeland. I goes, wow, and then in between that time, I looked all about Dominica because I was curious, because I don't know about Dominica. I mean, because Dominica is a very small island, and people don't really, I mean, I don't know. It's when you think about the Caribbean, you think about Jamaica, St. Lucia, all the kind of biggish islands.
Yeah.
And I went, and it's like a nature island, and it was so beautiful. And I thought, wow, this is where this guy comes from. So we're just talking, and he was there for the whole of June and July, and he just wanted to see me all the time. His sister could not understand, because she's never seen her brother like this. She goes, oh my God, Taiwo, I've never seen him, because she's like a real Londoner. I've never seen anything like this. He's just like, just sprung on you. He's sprung on you, I tell you. So we're just talking, and then it just went on and on and on and on. And then we were in a long distance relationship, And then in 2000, I think it was 2009. Yeah, 2009. No, before that, 2008, me and him just went to Dominica, and I just blew my mind. And then, then we went back in 2009 with the children, my children, his children, and we had such an amazing time. It was lovely. And I thought, wow, I think I could live here, but I didn't say that to him. And so we'd been together for 3 years and everything like that. And then he went back to Holland, and then I went back to London. And, and at this time now, my children, like my youngest one, he wanted to go and live with his father because he was doing his A-levels. My oldest one had moved out, he'd work and everything like that. What was he, about 22? And so he'd moved out. And then my youngest one, he wanted to go and live with his father because he wasn't going to school in Hackney, and he was doing his A-levels near where his father lives in Morden. And he said, Mum, it's just a traveling. I just want to, and I guess that's fine, because they were raised with their father anyways, no biggie. And so I thought, I'm free, And then me and Ents were talking, we were still talking about our relationship. He goes, look, why don't you just come over to Holland? I goes, yeah, why not? I've got nothing to lose. My contract was up, my contract in my house was up. Everything was it was really weird how everything fit in. So we went to Holland, and Ensign still was like, kept on talking, because he's got land over there, and he's building a house. And this is like from years before I met him. And he goes, I just want to go to Dominica. I don't want to be here anymore. And his children kind of were grown up and everything like that. And we decided to take the leap. And so we got married, because we'd been together, and he never asked me, oh, will you marry me? It just fell into the whole completion of getting married. So we married in 2012, been together for 6 years. Wow. And then he went to, like, about 2 weeks after we got married, he went to Dominique to get everything ready. And I went at the end of December, and I've been here since 2012.
And
yeah.
We're out there, so congratulations on your marriage. You've been married now.
Yeah. We've been married now since 2012, 20th of August, wow. 2012. Yeah. Yeah. So.
And you look so happy, because
I mean, we have our ups and downs, and Ensign could be a real typical, but he's just it just looks after me. He looks after me. Not that I can't look after myself, because I can, but he always makes sure that I'm okay. He just makes sure that Taiwo is okay, because if I'm okay, then he's okay, Yeah.
Okay. So, and that's a good part of marriage.
Yeah.
Making sure that each other basically.
Yeah.
Right. So what I wanted to ask you now is that we know that you left to go to Dominique because
Dominica. Yeah.
But and then the story. Well, we're not going to go into that right now. But I wanted to know what led up to that period. I know you were looking for stability. I knew you were looking for a life partner. But what else was going on, especially in your work life, that you think, I don't want to do this anymore, or this is too much for me? What were the real issues that you were battling with before you made that that transition to move
I
abroad?
think it was just, I think it was just burnout, but I just wasn't happy anymore. I just wasn't happy doing the work that I was doing. And I just wanted to, and I didn't want to go elsewhere to train up. I just wasn't happy. I just, I guess there was many factors. Mostly it was, I just wasn't happy doing the work. Here I am trying to get people to be well. And I don't think I was feeling well because I wasn't happy. So I thought, let me come out of this rat race. And I think that was the major kind of impetus for me to get out because I wasn't happy. I wasn't happy in the workplace. I saw certain things going on, which I think was racism when you think about it. Even though you're very kind of, I was very kind of thing in my role. I was very competent, but I get people who was above me who didn't have the qualifications I had. So it was part of that. And I just thought, I just don't want to get up every morning, going into a train cold, squeezing up. That wasn't my life. That just wasn't my life. I just thought there's more to life than, and if I hadn't met my husband, I still think I would have come to the Caribbean. It probably would have been a different way. But I just knew it's either me going somewhere or just disappearing, like just going, just being. And I wasn't happy. And I think it's about making yourself happy, what you want to do in your life. I was scared, but sometimes you have to grab hold of that, fear and just do it anyway, so.
I
Yeah.
absolutely applaud you. I remember when we were working together in Frontline, we were working
Yeah.
with complex needs. And I
Yeah.
remember you and but I remember obviously as an outsider, when you're looking at somebody, you realize, oh my gosh, you look so unhappy, you look so stressed.
Yeah.
And I remember our conversations as well. You were just
Yeah.
really on tender hooks. Um,
Yeah.
and I don't mean that in a disrespectful
No,
way.
no. I don't get that. I don't pick that up
Yeah,
at all.
the fact is, it was getting too much for you, and I can understand how, in the work that we do, or the work that we did,
Mm,
how it can just suck you dry.
yeah.
If you're not in a place where you can replenish,
Mm,
then you're basically running on empty. And then you've also
exactly.
got the added pressure in the UK where food is not 100% healthy. You're constantly having to pay bills. The
Lack of sun. Let's be
activism.
real. Lack of sun, because, when you think about all the scientific studies, in terms of how it affects us as people with melanin, that lack of sun is, I've read quite a bit. It's amazing, that lack of vitamin D, how it
Yes,
has that impact on us. Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
definitely. And I think it all just adds up. And you, before that, because before that you were raising children, and your children, it's a lot of pressure.
Yeah, it
Um,
is.
it is a lot of pressure. And if you're doing it alone as well, it's just 10 times harder.
I mean,
Um,
I was fortunate in a way that my children were co-parented, so I have to. It wasn't like I was a lone parent, but there was co-parenting. I think it was the term was kind of there before I even knew what co-parenting was. But my children's father always gave me the support in that way. Like if I wanted just that, I mean, every weekend they would go after their fathers, So it was
right.
never a kind of thing. So I was lucky in that way. Or if I wanted to go to Holland for the weekend when I was seeing Ensign, I could do it. And if I wanted to come back an extra day, but the children meant to come back, but they said, that's okay, we'll have the children. So I was able to kind of manage that okay, but still, I was still raising them by myself, Yeah.
Yes. And so the last straw for you was what? What was the day where, because I know you said you had the dreams already, but what was the day where you're just like, I'm done?
Yeah. I don't really know if I can pinpoint. I think there were many episodes that kind of led to that point. I don't think it was one episode. I think it was just many that kind of just, I
Culminated.
think, I think for me, when I think about it in hindsight, I think a lot of it also was coming from my childhood because I hadn't really looked into some of the stuff that had happened to me, and I would go into my little, because I think I was suffering from, I did have depression, but I held that down because I was in a job trying to help other people,
Mhm.
So I think sometimes when you heard me, sometimes I was just regurgitating how I really felt inside because I couldn't really tell anybody because I had to be the strong Black woman, that whole trope of, so it's that whole kind of merry-go-round that we're on. So I think to me it was just little episodes that led to the final. Like, I've got to either come out or I'm going to go crazy, you know. And I had to come out for my own mental health. So along the journey, along the way, meeting my husband, and you know that it all.
Tell me, when you decided to pack up and you went to Dominique, how was that for you? Because that's a huge transition.
Oh gosh. If I could have done it differently, I would have done.
What would you have done differently, Taya?
Oh my God. Oh God, because we had some issues. Because what happened, my husband was packing up from Netherlands. I was packing up from England. So we were kind of doing our things different. Because what happened actually, I went to Holland because after my contract had finished, and then my children had, my oldest one had left home anyway, and my youngest one decided to go live, you know, the father to do his A-levels and everything like that. So everything was finished. So then we realized at this time that we were going. So I was going from my end, he was going from his end, and he knew somebody who was coming down, who was like a long distance driver, and he came down to England all the time, you know. So he put all his stuff from his house in this truck. I mean, everything, yeah. And then I'd found somebody like, you know, when you ship to the Caribbean or Africa, I found somebody who could do that. And then I had already put my stuff in storage with the same person. Okay. So I said to this guy, look, you know, my boyfriend's coming later on. You know, he's got to come from Holland, all his things. Oh, the drama we got from him. Oh, it was crazy. So we were over here trying to get this the shipping, and oh my God, drama. So oh God, just to revisit that, it's like, oh my goodness, it was really bad because he was overcharging us storage. It was like awful, and we couldn't take our stuff out, and it was just, but we got it, and we had to get somebody else to kind of hijack our stuff from his storage space to take it because he was just overcharging us, and he kind of like held up a knife in front of, I mean, it's just drama. We tried to get our stuff and we couldn't because he wanted the money every month, and we said no, we don't want our stuff in the storage anymore. But then he held up a knife in front of my husband and said, you're not taking your stuff. Then my husband, bless him, he's very kind of calm, because if he'd been stupid, there could have been some consequences. Yeah. So, but anyway, we finally managed. But it was like, oh, I'm telling you, if you're going to another country, migrating to another country, you really got to be prepared and really kind of have your head on. We had our head on, but oh, it was just drama. But we got there. I was going to tell you about when we got to when my husband got to Dominica, but then he's Dominican, so he's able to handle Dominicans, you know. But the guy that we had that was doing our storage, he was from Jamaica, and some of the stuff went to Jamaica. Some went to Jamaica, some went to I mean, it was crazy. We still haven't got our stuff, but we had to just let it go. I'm just laughing about it now because it was so funny.
Some of the laws and the boundaries that we take for granted in the UK, when you go abroad and then there, it's a massive shock to the system.
I mean, my husband knows because my husband's from Dominica, and the thing is, he always, even when he was in Holland, he'd always go to Dominica at least every year with his children or not, you know, because he was building his house and making sure his land was everything. So he was always over there. It's like, you know, sometimes when people come from the Caribbean or Africa or whatever, they don't go back home for years and years and years and years. So it's very unfamiliar to them. But my husband was born there. He came to Europe when he was in his late 20s, early 30s. So everything, it was not like he came when he was a child. So he came in his formative years, I guess, or his years, whatever. So, but he always had that connection. So, you know, it wasn't a big thing for him returning at all, you know. But it was dealing with when he came back to Dominica, because he came back before me in September 2012, dealing with the stuff coming from Europe and the storage and the whole politics of all that. But he was able to deal with it because he's Dominican and he knows what to use and speak to Creole with them, and they would just move, you know. And also my husband, you know, politics in the Caribbean is just another eye opener. But my husband, my brother-in-law was the was the opposition leader of a political party. He's
Okay.
not anymore. He's in exile. Oh God, it's just I don't know. It's just like when I'm talking about it, and I think God, I think my life could be a movie. So funny.
Some of the laws and the boundaries that we take for granted in the UK, when you go abroad and
Yeah.
then there, it's a massive shock to the system.
I mean, my husband knows because my husband's from Dominica, and the thing is, he always, even when he was in Holland, he'd always go to Dominica at least every year, with his children or not, you know, because he was building his house and making sure his land was everything. So he was always over there. It's like, you know, sometimes when people come from the Caribbean or Africa or whatever, they don't go back home for years and years and years and years. So it's very unfamiliar to them. Well, my husband was born there. He came to Europe when he was in his late 20s, early 30s. So everything, it was not like he came when he was a child. So he came in his formative years, I guess, or his years, whatever. So, but he always had that connection. So, you know, it wasn't a big thing for him returning at all, you know. But it was dealing with when he came back to Dominica, because he came back before me in September 2012, dealing with the stuff coming from Europe and the storage and the whole politics of all that. But he was able to deal with it because he's Dominican and he knows what to use and speak to Creole with them, and they would just move, you know. And also, my husband, you know, politics in the Caribbean is just another eye opener. But my husband, my brother-in-law, was the was the opposition leader of a political party. He's not anymore. He's in exile. Oh God, it's just I don't know. It's just like when I'm talking about it, and I think God, I think my life could be a movie. He's in exile in New York, and oh God, that's another thing. So anyway, but the thing is, my husband and his brother look alike. The only thing is that Earl hasn't got locks, Ensign's got locks. But then every time we go and go, oh, your old brother, your old brother, yes, because they look alike, you know. And as soon as he says where he comes from in Salisbury, that's the village where he was born. Everybody knows because that's where Earl was representing. He was an MP in Salisbury, so they all know. So he was able to use on recognition of his brother to get his stuff out, but it was just a whole load of, I mean, because every day he'll be on the phone to me from Dominica, let me know what's going on and everything that was going on and how vexed he was. I just told him just to breathe and take it easy, you know. So yeah.
So you were in Dominica for a while. You got a taste of Dominica. How did you
was in Dominica from 2012, end 2012 until September 2015.
Okay, so what made you move from Dominica to Guadeloupe?
Guadeloupe, right. So being in Dominica now, I love Dominica and I still feel that is my home, but it's hard, you know. I mean, we have our money and everything like that, but things in Dominica are so expensive and you cannot get work really, you know, you just cannot get work. I mean, you know, it's who you know. Now, if Earl had still been there, I mean, if Earl had been there, I could have got a job with, you know, doing things, but it's like who you know. If you don't support the political party, which I don't, then you're not going to get anywhere, right? So I remember we were having a conversation with Earl about 7 months ago, because he's in America, and we were on WhatsApp with him or Zoom or something like that. And I goes, yeah. He goes, why didn't you say anything? I could have just written a letter when I was over in Dominica. So I said, yeah, I was too late now. So the reason why we came over there was kind of twofold, really. We came to Guadeloupe because my husband, obviously, he has contacts over here, so he was able to get some kind of sustainable employment. And secondly, there was the Hurricane Erica, the tropical storm Erica. Tropical storm Erica. It just went crazy because Dominica, the infrastructure is not too great. So I just said, you know, no, something's got to give. We've got to come out of here. And also the healthcare is just non-existent. I'm not happy with the healthcare. Now, when we came over because I didn't know, but I guess I should have known that Guadeloupe I knew that Guadeloupe was a French overseas department, but I didn't know you had the same rights because we're EU. My husband's EU as well. Yes. He had his Dutch apartment from years, you know, when he first moved there in the 90s. So we said, well, if we come to Guadeloupe, we'll have our rights. So we can access the healthcare, we can access this, we can get our social security numbers, we can work. So that's what we just need to do. But I think the storm kind of pushed us forward. But we started seeing, because our money was started running out, and then we just thought, no, you know. So then we came here and we started living with his sister, and then it's who you know. Again, I think it's anywhere you go in Africa or the Caribbean, it's who you know. So we were able to get an apartment, and you know, I was able to get working English, doing English contracts, which I get every 6 months if I want to, with the Department of Education in France. And my husband, you know, he's got work, and, you know, it's again, who you know. So we were able to do it that way. We still had our challenges when we first came here, because I don't really speak French. My husband speaks Creole and French, so he's okay. And yeah, so we've been here since 2015, but pre-COVID, we were going over every weekend. I'm hopping every weekend, going over, because you get on the ferry. It's about an hour and a half on the ferry, and then we get to the other side, and then Ensign would go and get our car. You know, he would get a bus to go and get our car in Salisbury and come back down, and then we'd go back to Salisbury and we'd go to our house, you know, and that's what we did. But now COVID has come, we haven't been able to do that. My husband's not been back since February 2020 and haven't been back since December 2019 because of COVID. So yeah.
And what is so amazing about picking up and taking a chance and moving abroad, or should I say migrating abroad?
Yeah. Well, it's always something that I wanted to do. So it's like I feel like kind of satisfied or fulfilled my destiny of being here. So it's like I should be here, wherever it is, Guadeloupe or Dominica. Okay, so it just makes me happy that all those daydreams I used to have when I was young, moving to the Caribbean. And it's really weird, actually, Angela. Let me just link it in quickly, because when I was at university doing my Caribbean studies, my marks are really, really good. My teachers were always saying, your marks are so good. And you know what, Taiwo, if you go into, instead of looking at Anglophone literature, because I was into the literature, like all the Caribbean women writers specifically, when you go into second year, why not step out of it a bit and look at French Caribbean literature? I said, yeah, that's interesting. And I said, this is like in 93, 94, when I was doing my thing. Didn't know at the time about Guadeloupe or Dominica. I mean, I knew about, you know, Guadeloupe and Martinique, but it was just so literally far away from me. So I said, oh, okay. I said, well, I have to speak French. And they said, well, of course, because it's French literature. I said, oh, God, no. They go, Tara, just try. And they were always pushing me. And they said, you can go to university in Guadeloupe for 1 year. They said that to me. And I said, well, my children are young and I can't uplift it, because I would have had to uproot my children, and they had their relationship with the father. But it's weird how that happened, because here I was in the 90s doing this degree. They said Guadeloupe, and it just seemed such a long, I mean, I knew it was in the Caribbean, but I wanted to go to the English speaking Caribbean, to be honest with you. And then a few years after that, I finished my degree. This is obviously a long time before I met Ensign, because I met Ensign in 2006. A few years after that, I literally bumped into a guy, and I said, oh, sorry, and then he said, huh? And then we started talking. It was gorgeous, you know. I can't, you know. We just started talking. I literally bumped into him somewhere. I was rushing, and then I heard, I said, where are you from? Are you from France? He goes, no, Guadeloupe. What you were asked, I think it was just, I was meant to be here. I was meant to be in the Caribbean, in this specific part of the Caribbean. I don't know why. Maybe, because I was like saying to my husband, because like, when I'm in Dominica, everything thinks I look Dominican. When I was in Jamaica, I look Jamaican. Because we go to St. Lucia, well, we used to go to St. Lucia before, because you can get on the ferry again. You can go, it's excellent. And they just say, are you from Castries or from everywhere? So I said to my husband one day, I said, I think maybe that when people were, you know, when they came to enslave us from Africa, maybe some of my family must have been obviously stolen and taken away, and in the Caribbean bit, because I don't know, I just had this yearning.
And you feel 100% comfortable there.
Oh, definitely.
Now that Brexit is kicked in the UK, it means we don't have the freedom of movement.
Yeah.
Granted. So it's not a thing now where you can just get up and decide, I'm going to go and live in Guadeloupe or any of the other.
Exactly. And I'm glad that I made that choice when it happened, really. Yeah, because it would have been much easier. I think if I'd known about it years ago that I could have come to Guadeloupe, I think I would have done. Now, because I've been here for 5 years as well, I forgot to say, I've been here for 5 years and I'm claiming my residence permit. Brilliant. So I can get my residence permit. It's actually it's processing. So that gives me the full rights now. Even though I had my European passport, I always ask for a carte séjour here. A carte séjour is a residence permit, and it's like your identity. It's an identity card. Yes. So like if I want to go to France, I can use that and I can go. I can have free, So that's a real good thing as well. You know, I can use that in France or any of the other French islands to just go in without using my passport. You know, so with citizenship, you have to speak fluent French, and that ain't never going to happen with me. And I don't think I want citizenship. I can just get my resident permit. I'm cool. You know, I've got my passport as well in Dominica. I've got my Dominican passport as well. So, you know, and I got my English passport. So, you know, I don't think I don't think it's going to happen, the citizenship in here, because I'll have to speak full, undiluted French, and that's never going to happen. I'm just being real. It's not going to happen. So I think I'll just be happy with my carte séjour, my resident permit. Yeah.
Any advice for people who are thinking of packing up and moving somewhere else? Any advice?
Right. I would say obviously to research, look at what the medical care is like, look for about the jobs. I mean, nowadays, a lot of people do remote work. So it's possible, you know, it's possible because now you can work all over the world from your internet. I mean, one of the things I do, I teach English. But I took 6 months of that because of the COVID. I didn't want to go into the schools. I didn't think it was done properly. So I just said, you know what, I'm just leaving that. But I do other stuff online. I do Forex trading, and I make some good money, you know? So I'm doing my Forex trading. I also write articles. I also, if I want to, I've got some clients that I do English with them on Skype. You know, so I'm okay. My husband works. So, but I would say look at the health care system, because that's very important. You don't know when you're gonna turn sick or whatever, and you need that. We have our carte vitale. I haven't even got it with me, but I have a carte vitale which I can have access to the health system over here or in France or any of the French islands I go to. Right? It's like having your NHS card. Okay. So I have my carte vitale. You know, look into the employment situation, but I don't think, you know, that's really because, as I said, you've got remote, everybody's doing digital nomading now. They're traveling with their laptops, even their phones. I mean, I do my trading on my phone, you know, my tablet, you know. Employment, just see where you're going, where you're leaving, and things like that. In Guadeloupe, it's amazing because I was shocked when I first came here to Guadeloupe because they have flats, they have social housing. Yes. There's social housing, you know, so, you know, but it's hard. I think it'd be harder for people if they want to come from Europe now and come here.
Well, it's going to be, well, especially from the UK. Other countries in Europe, they're still
but because you're finding more people coming from Europe. I met somebody, because I'm also in this other group called Guadeloupe English. It's another social group where we meet up and we go to the bars or whatever, you know, and there's people coming from where is it, Spain, Italy, coming to, you know, because the weather is beautiful, and it's got some beautiful, some of the best beaches I've ever seen in the Caribbean, really beautiful beaches, you know. So people are coming here, you know, and I think they're realizing they have to speak English. So I've had quite a few people approach me that want me, but sometimes I find it really boring, and I don't really like the teaching. I get good money, but sometimes you've got to be happy. Yes. I like to do my trading because there's a risk to it and there's a challenge, and I like that, you know. I've made some good money, and I can't, you know, I can't complain about that. I'm going to keep on learning about trading, and that's what I'm going to do. I think that's my roots. I think I found my place.
So the quality of life, the quality of food, would you say that it's so much better?
It's excellent. Yeah, so much better. Quality of life. You mean when you wake up in the morning and you've got the sunshine shining in your eyes, come on, or when you can just go out and go and get your coconut water, you know, like a bottle for €2 or €3, when you can get fresh fruit, like every season, there's mango season, there's, you know, this season, there's, you know, guava season, and you have fresh fruit and, you know, yeah, the water. You go into the interior in Dominica or in Guadeloupe and you just see beauty, you know, that in itself is wonderful. You go to the beach, we go to the beach nearly every Sunday. You know, I might not even go into the water, just to sit by the beach and listen and just see the beautiful beach. You know.
But you only have 2 seasons in Guadeloupe as well, don't you?
Yeah.
So
yeah. And one of them's called Carmen, and another one's called, I can't remember. My husband told me,
I think
but
it's
I can't remember.
Lent.
Yes. Sorry, I should know that. Yeah, Lent is around this time.
Yes.
Because they have carnival's not going on this year because of the COVID, which is a real shame, because the carnival is just, it's so different from other carnivals I've been to in the Caribbean. And I think it's because it's more the kind of francophone carnival, whereas if you go to Dominica or St. Lucia or anywhere else, it's different, you know, because it's, you know, got the European, you got the French and you got the English. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Tayo.
Oh, it's okay. I enjoyed it. I just talking about it sometimes. I think, gosh, I'm in that life, you know.
Yeah.
It's just like I just get up every day and it's normal. But sometimes I have to take a breath and think, I'm here. I'm in the Caribbean, or when I'm in the car, I'm driving. I think, looking around me, looking at my, you know, coconut trees and just yeah, beaches and yeah. So I feel really blessed.
Yeah, no, definitely. But it's a trend.
And I would encourage anybody, even though you feel, oh, I don't know if I want to go, I feel just do it, you know, just look at certain pillars that you need to look at: health, you know, employment. But then again, I think it's easier now, more and more easier to do remote working online. If you can get a gig doing that, that's even better. Then, you know, but just set yourself up, have your foundation. And I think it's possible. And then the next thing you just need to do is just pack up and go. Yeah.
Don't tempt me. Don't tempt me, Tayo.